Welcome back to the channel. If you have watched the 2.0 music video, and at this point, with the view count climbing the way it has been, there is a very good chance you have watched it multiple times. You probably caught the moment. The elevator doors open. BTS steps out in their sharp suits, their period-accurate hairstyles, their deliberately exaggerated makeup that is both completely ridiculous and somehow completely cool at the same time. The hallway is full of rough-looking characters. The tension is building. The old boy homage is unmistakable and deliberate and brilliant. And then the members reach into their jackets and their pockets to pull out their weapons. Except the weapons are not weapons at all. RM pulls out a newspaper held upside down. Someone produces a backscratcher. And two items in particular stopped arming in their tracks, sent people running to their keyboards, and sparked a conversation that has now spread across social media, fan forums, academic threads on Korean culture, and even mainstream entertainment media. Jungkook is holding a Samtaejuk fan. And Suga is holding a Danso. And once you understand what those two objects actually are, what they represent, and why those specific members were given those specific props, the entire music video opens up in a way that makes you realize you were watching something far more layered and far more meaningful than you initially understood. Let us start at the very beginning, because context is everything here and you cannot fully appreciate the significance of these two props without first understanding the world the music video is operating in. The 2.0 MV draws its visual inspiration from Oldboy, the 2003 South Korean film directed by Park Chan-wook that is widely considered one of the greatest and most technically accomplished films in the history of cinema. The film's most iconic sequence is a hallway fight scene filmed in a single continuous take, an exhausted man moving through a narrow corridor, fighting off wave after wave of opponents with nothing but his fists and his sheer refusal to stop. It is brutal, it is raw, it is extraordinary filmmaking, and it has been referenced and homaged in film and television productions around the world for over 2 decades. In the BTS 2.0 music video, the members choose not to fight with a hammer like the protagonist in the original film, but instead showcase their dance skills and music to take on their opponents. Their props include a backscratcher, a Taegyu pattern fan, a Danso flute, and a newspaper, with exaggerated mustaches and accessories contributing to the lighthearted tone while they use synchronized dance and music to overcome the hallway confrontation. This choice, to replace the brutal physicality of the original scene with dance, music, and cultural objects is not accidental. It is not a compromise. It is a statement. And it is a statement that operates on multiple levels simultaneously, which is exactly what BTS has always done at their best and most intentional. On the surface level, it is funny. It is genuinely, warmly, laugh-out-loud funny to watch 7 men in suits and period mustaches walk out of an elevator ready to confront a hallway full of tough-looking strangers, and the most threatening thing among them is a newspaper held upside down and a traditional fan. The comedy is real and it is earned and it lands perfectly. But underneath the comedy, something more significant is happening. Something that connects directly to the album's themes, to the members' identities, and to a statement about what BTS stands for and what they use as their weapons in the world. Fans analyzed that the use of traditional props instead of weapons in the fight scene is a symbolic choice of confronting with culture and identity, not strength, beyond simple humor. One fan wrote, "I brought instruments and trident fans instead of weapons. BTS fights with music and culture," while another said, "These are kings of duality. Genius in a way that brings culture, music and humor to the doorstep of every household at the same time. Music is their weapon. Culture is their weapon. Identity is their weapon." And when you understand that framework, the specific choice of which prop goes to which member becomes not just interesting but genuinely moving. Because Jungkook was not given a random fan and Suga was not given a random flute. These objects were chosen with care, and the reasons behind those choices reveal something real and specific about who these two men are and what they mean within the story of BTS. Let us talk about Jungkook's Samtaejuk fan first, because its symbolism is rich and multi-layered and deserves the kind of attention that a casual viewing of the music video might not allow you to give it. In Samtaejuk, 3 colors of red, blue, and yellow symbolize heaven, land, and humans, respectively, and its origin goes back to the Goguryeo and Silla periods in Korea, dating as far back as the 5th and 7th centuries. The national flag of the Republic of Korea also features the Taegyu pattern. Think about what it means to give this specific object to this specific member. Jungkook is the youngest member of BTS, the Magne, the one who was born in 1997 and who debuted as a teenager in 2013, who grew up inside the BTS story in the most literal possible sense. He is the member who, in many ways, represents the future, the one who arrived carrying the potential of everything that was still to come, the one whose journey from teenage trainee to global phenomenon has been the most publicly visible and the most emotionally resonant for a fanbase that has watched him grow up in real time. And into his hands, in this music video, the creative team placed an object that represents the oldest and deepest layers of Korean cultural identity, a symbol that connects heaven, earth, and human beings, that dates back to a period of Korean history over 15 centuries old, and that is woven into the very fabric of what Korea is as a nation and a civilization. That juxtaposition, the youngest member holding the oldest symbol, is not accidental. It is a visual argument about continuity. About the relationship between the past and the future. About what it means to be young and Korean and proud of both of those things simultaneously. Jungkook has spent his entire public life being positioned as something new, as the next thing, the future face, the evolution of what Korean popular music can be. And here he is, in a music video that is itself about evolution in new chapters and becoming a version 2.0 of yourself, holding in his hand a symbol that says the deepest roots of Korean culture are not behind him but are part of him, carried forward into whatever comes next. Heaven, land, and humans. The past, the present, and the future. All held in a traditional fan in the hands of the youngest man in the hallway. The fan also connects directly to the album's title and central concept. Arirang is named after a Korean folk song that has been sung in Korea for centuries, a song associated with the deepest and most persistent aspects of Korean cultural identity, a song that has survived dynasties and wars and occupation and modernization because it carries something in it that does not diminish with time. The choice to name a comeback album after that song, and then to put a Samtaejuk fan, another ancient symbol of Korean cultural continuity, into Jungkook's hands in the album's second music video, is part of a coherent artistic statement about identity and belonging and the relationship between where you come from and where you are going. BTS is not just making pop music. They are making a sustained and deliberate argument about what it means to be Korean in the contemporary world, and every detail of the 2.0 music video is part of that argument. Now let us talk about Suga and the Danso, because this is where the story gets personal in a way that is simultaneously hilarious and genuinely touching, and it reveals something important about the way BTS approaches the relationship between their public art and their private lives. What Suga is holding in the music video is a danso, a traditional Korean bamboo flute. Among fans, there is a widely circulated childhood story about Suga, whose real name is Min Youngi, in which he was once hit near the ear with a danso by a classmate named Gwaechang during elementary school. The account, shared within the fandom through a translated post reportedly written by a teacher, describes the incident and mentions that Suga was taken for a medical checkup after the event, though no serious injury was found. Now, pause. Take a moment to appreciate what is happening here. This is one of the world's most successful music producers, a Grammy-nominated artist, a man whose musical output has influenced contemporary pop and hip-hop in ways that most people who have never heard of him still feel every day, and the prop chosen for him in an old boy homage music video referencing his arsenal of weapons is the instrument that a kid named Gwaechang hit him with in elementary school. The specificity of that is extraordinary. The intimacy of it is extraordinary. The fact that whoever made this creative decision knew about that story, understood what it would mean to the people who also know about it, and deliberately embedded it into a piece of major label music video production that is a level of care for the fandom's shared history with the members that goes far beyond what most artists would even consider. Fans reacted with immediate recognition and delight. One fan said, "Youngi got hit in the head with a danso in elementary school. It's time for revenge," while others combined the reference with the broader cultural context of the props, calling the danso the ultimate item of Asian parents and drawing waves of sympathetic and amused reactions from fans across different cultural backgrounds who understood exactly what that meant. But the danso is not just a personal joke. It is also, like Jungkook's fan, a deeply culturally significant object. The danso is a traditional Korean bamboo flute that has been played in Korea for centuries, associated with traditional music and folk culture and the kind of musical heritage that long predates the contemporary K-pop industry. Suga is a producer, a rapper, a songwriter, a musician whose relationship to music is perhaps the most comprehensive and the most consuming of any member of BTS. Music is not just what he does. It is who he is. And the object placed in his hands in this music video is a musical instrument, specifically a traditional Korean musical instrument that connects into a lineage of Korean music makers that stretches back generations. The humor of the Danso reference for fandom insiders is real and it is funny. But it sits on top of a layer of genuine cultural resonance that makes the choice perfect in more ways than one. One tweet that spread quickly with nearly 300,000 views articulated this perfectly: "I brought instruments and Triton fans instead of weapons. BTS fights with music and culture." And another fan responded, "Music is their weapon," which quickly became one of the phrases most associated with the music video across social media platforms. Music is their weapon. Sit with that for a moment and think about what it means in the context of where BTS is right now and what this comeback represents. These 7 men completed 2 years of mandatory military service, 2 years in an institution literally built around the concept of conventional power, physical readiness, national defense, the machinery of force. They came out of that institution and immediately went to Los Angeles, where they spent 2 months making music together for the first time in years. They came back to Korea and performed at Gwanghwamun Square, one of the most historically and politically charged public spaces in the entire country, and they did it not with weapons but with songs. And then they released a music video that directly and deliberately and with full awareness of what it was doing substituted cultural objects for weapons in a scene from one of the most famous action films in Korean cinema history. The message could not be clearer. And the fact that it is delivered with humor, with backscratcher and upside-down newspapers and exaggerated mustaches and a danso that references a childhood incident that happened to a specific person whose name is Min Yoongi, makes it more powerful, not less. Because the best kind of meaning is the kind that sneaks up on you. The kind that makes you laugh first and think second. The kind that is genuinely entertaining on its surface and genuinely profound underneath. That is what BTS has always done at their most intentional. And the 2.0 music video, with its Sam Taejuk fan and its danso and its carefully chosen cultural weapons, is one of the most intentional things they have ever put in front of a camera. The deeper you look at the 2.0 music video, the more you find. Details fans have noted include Jimin's tattoo visible in certain frames, the location of the HYBE building, and multiple other embedded references that reward close attention from an audience that has spent years learning to pay that kind of attention. Every prop, every costume choice, every location, every moment of choreography is in conversation with something, with Korean history, with BTS's own history, with the fandom's accumulated knowledge of who these people are and where they came from. Jungkook holding the Sam Taejuk fan is the youngest member of BTS holding the oldest symbol of Korean cultural identity, making a statement about continuity and pride and the relationship between past and future that resonates across generations. Suga holding the danso is one of the world's most respected music producers holding a traditional Korean musical instrument that is simultaneously a fandom inside joke and a sincere declaration that music, Korean music, traditional music, the music that came before all of this, is the foundation of everything they do. Together, these two props form a microcosm of what the entire Erarang era is about. Heritage and evolution. Humor and depth. The personal and the universal. The old and the new, held together in the same hallway, walking toward the same future. This is not just a music video. It is a document. A document that ARMY will be unpacking and discussing and finding new layers in for years to come. And Jungkook's fan and Suga's danso are two of the most perfectly chosen details in the entire thing, each one doing multiple jobs simultaneously, each one rewarding different levels of engagement, each one adding something to the story that could not have been added any other way. Not weapons. Something bigger. Culture. Music. Identity. The things that BTS has always been fighting with, and the things that no military service, no hiatus, no amount of time away from the stage could ever take from them. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a comment below telling me which detail in the 2.0 music video surprised you the most, and subscribe if you are not already here. See you in the next one.